It's Midwest Ghost Hunters at Pythian Castle in Springfield, Missouri with our Dark Matter podcast. John, go ahead. Do your thing.
Whatever podcast platform you're listening on, please like, comment, share, put all the comments you've got about the podcast on the platform.
Everybody says such nice things on email, which is appreciated, but they don't
please
help in
put it
the
on
same
the
way.
podcast platform, whatever platform you're listening on, whether it's Apple, whether it is Spotify, iHeart, whatever, wherever you're listening, please go ahead and make those comments there.
Now, being a paranormal podcast, if you've listened to us for any length of time, you know we talk a lot about ghosts, but we tiptoe into some other things too every now and then. We've talked about time travel. We've talked about Bigfoot in moderation. We've talked quite a bit about UFOs too. So it kind of falls into since we're not a UFO investigation group where we investigate, ghosts only. But our podcast is, the genre is paranormal, and under that umbrella would fall UFOs and whatnot,
I'll be
aliens.
honest with you. You want to hear something brutally honest?
What?
That a lot of people probably don't agree with if you're listening to a paranormal podcast. And some of you might not agree with it either. I am more interested in UFOs than I am ghosts.
You're out.
Isn't that fucked up?
Yeah,
You're out.
You're done.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Well, the interest for the paranormal in general for me actually started with UFO stuff.
Did you see the meetings from Congress? I sent them to Tyler, and they were talking about the UFO that they had some fighters that were chasing this thing, and they shot it. They shot it with a
Have you
missile.
seen the video of that?
Yes,
The
I
FLIR
did,
video?
and it bounced off of that.
The multi-million-dollar, highly advanced Hellfire missile.
Yeah.
That just bounced. You can see it bounce off of this
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
It just kind of like
It wobbled and corrected itself. It's the craziest footage I've ever seen.
It was
Now, I
like
thought
it
that-
looked like it got shot with a BB.
I thought that those things, and there is some debris that comes out from this thing.
Well,
There was
this Hellfire missile
something
might have
broke
been
apart.
like the thing I've seen online of people talking about that particular footage is that a lot of people say, well, it could have been a training missile, which don't have ordnance. They won't explode. They can be guided, but they won't actually explode. You know what it looked like? Gravity had been manipulated on that missile, because the way the missile just kind of immediately kind of almost bends around it, which is interesting because Bob Lazar.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say.
These things create a gravitational field.
Yes.
And the way you got to look at that is the UFO isn't moving. Everything else is moving.
Here's the way Bob Lazar described it in one interview that I saw that made the most sense to me. He said, if you lay a bed sheet out on the floor, you grab one corner and bring two of the corners together, that's how it travels. Boy, that's hard to describe. It brings the space to it.
Right. It's not traversing in the way that humans with our ape brains, with our primitive monkey brains, generally think of moving.
No, and I mean, these things don't have a 450 Evinrude on them. I mean,
It's not a horsepower engine in there.
it's not necessarily even a propulsion method.
So I'm glad you brought up that video, because I don't think we've ever talked about that.
So that video, then, the alien moved the missile. Is that what the theory is?
Well, I think the theory is that the vehicle itself is able to reshape space-time.
The missile went where it was supposed to go.
The ship just moved.
The ship, that gravitational field just affected the missile in a way.
Mathematically, that missile traveled in a straight line.
Yeah, it should have went where it was, and it did. You can see it just bounce. It's the weirdest thing. Have you guys seen the footage?
Yeah,
Yes,
I've seen
he
it.
sent it.
Okay.
Didn't you?
I
Isn't
sent it
that-
to everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I had seen that already, so that was old news to me.
Well, you didn't say that.
I know.
This is what he does at work.
This is my job, John. This is what I do. I sit in my office and I watch UFO videos. On my lunch break, I get to watch stuff while I eat, and I always, my algorithm is so fucked up. It's just like UFO videos, and then the wood booger shit I sent you. I get wood booger recommendations. I get ghosts and demons. It's a circus. My YouTube is a circus.
My
You never know
biggest
what you're
problem with anything I'm trying to watch on YouTube or anything else, I really can't get into any ghost. Now, this is going to sound weird from a paranormal podcast guy saying this. I just can't really get into anything I find on YouTube because I don't know what's real and what's fake.
It's different now than it used to be. 15 years ago, you could pull up ghost videos and determine for yourself what was done with fishing line and what was an actual capture. Now it's very impossible to tell.
Right. I could find you more legitimate stuff on YouTube than we can going through an entire catalog.
Well,
of
it's different with
shows.
UFOs because UFOs you can kind of look at the source.
Like those paranormal shows are all nonsense. 99.9% of them are. There's a 0.1% that they're probably legit.
Like Mountain Monsters.
Like Mountain Monsters. That show is just that is
It's insulting.
That had to have won some Emmys.
So, what do you guys think about this big comet thing that some people think is a spaceship and other people say it's just a comet? Can you give just an overview if people don't know the comet or the thing that I'm talking about?
Well, first of all, it's the oldest object we've ever seen.
That's come into the solar system.
It's come into our solar system. It's the oldest, it's the most ancient visitor we've ever had.
Yeah.
That's a fact. That alone is going to make people study it.
Well, here, let me ask you this, though. Going back to what we were just talking about, and this is what I've been wondering since they spotted this thing. Going back to, what Bob Lazar said about the means of propulsion. It doesn't travel through space. It moves. If a lot of people are saying this thing's a UFO, a mothership. I'm not saying I buy into that. But if it were, we wouldn't see it traveling if it adhered to the physics that Bob Lazar said.
Maybe.
Well, also if it were going light speed.
Right, but even these UFOs we've caught and seen that definitely are out there, by the way. These UAPs that people have seen, that missile bounced off of, or the one that the Nimitz, the famous FLIR video from the Nimitz, which we've talked about before. That actually happened. That was real. It wasn't going supersonic or speed of light. It was just stationary a lot of the time. So they can slow down. So now we have amateur astronomers are watching this thing now.
Most of the scientists aren't jumping straight to aliens. They're saying that, it's a comet, but it's doing weird things. Like trajectory altered at the perihelion, which means it took a different path once it got to its closest point to the sun, which doesn't really happen a lot. But for a comet, the comet's like outgas, which can alter, it can provide thrust and it could alter its path.
What about the tail?
The tail disappeared, apparently, when it's closer to the sun, which also for a comet makes no sense, really.
Yeah. Well, the tail was pointed the wrong direction for a while.
Also makes no sense.
That's why people are looking at it. 99% of scientists aren't looking at it because they say it's an alien. They're looking at it because it exhibits weird characteristics.
Which might be totally natural that we just don't know about yet.
Because we've never seen something this old.
It could be its makeup. It could be, there's a million things that can affect it.
Is it possible this is the process it goes through as a comet dies? If it's this old, could it be dying?
Oh, probably not. I wouldn't imagine. So, no. As far as dying, I don't know what that means for a comet unless it goes into a black hole or...
How big is it?
It's the size of Manhattan.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. If I was thinking of the right one, I knew it was pretty significant.
It's huge.
The really interesting thing about this is if there ever were to be an alien probe or a mothership that would release probes, it would probably behave something like this.
You guys remember Oumuamua?
Yeah, that was the other.
There's another weirdly shaped... I don't know if that was more of a comet or an asteroid, but I think it was a comet.
It was a cigar-shaped comet.
It was hurling through... I don't know if that one was interstellar or not. I think it was.
It was.
I don't know.
But it was hurling through space, and we saw it, and everybody immediately jumped to aliens, and once it got a little closer and we could observe it a little better, it was obviously a comet.
There are thousands of comets spotted all the time, and you never hear about them because they don't act like this one is.
Two very old interstellar visitors that close together is pretty rare, I think.
What do you refer to?
Second one, what?
He said two.
Oumuamua.
I guess I'm not familiar with that.
That was years ago.
Was it?
I think so. It was a while back.
Well, Oumuamua came through and now
I think
Atlas
it was around.
So how close is this thing going to get to Earth? How close is...
It's. It depends on your grasp of how large space is.
Astronomically, it's going to get close.
It's very close. But as far as is it going to be something that's visible? No, you're not going to see it.
And I'm not sure if it's ever going to be visible to the naked eye. I don't remember.
No, you won't.
But this thing has no possibility of slamming into the Earth.
No. Impact is not a thing. We're not worried about the impact. And again, these are people that are looking at hypothetical situations. The fear is, if this is an alien race, and have you heard of the dark forest theory?
No.
So one of the answers of the Fermi paradox, you know what the Fermi paradox is?
Yes.
No.
The Fermi paradox is the idea of if there are an infinite number of universes, an infinite number of stars, an infinite number of Earth-like planets that could sustain life, or non-Earth-like planets with life that's not like us. If we are not alone, which we're not, that's a mathematical certainty.
Right.
There's other life out there. Is it intelligent? Who knows? But there is other life out there. We're not special, in my opinion, and in math's opinion. If there's other life out there, and it could be an infinite amount of life, why don't we see them? Because that doesn't make sense, right? That's the paradox. That's the Fermi paradox. One of the answers to the Fermi paradox is the dark forest theory. And that theory is a really scary way to answer the paradox, because the dark forest theory says the reason we don't have contact with alien civilizations is because every alien civilization that gets sophisticated enough, smart enough, knows to shut up. They know to keep their mouths shut. They know to stay in their own dark forest. Why? Because if you broadcast your presence, there could be alien races that mean harm that will come and fuck your shit up. That's one of the answers to the Fermi paradox.
Another scary one is the Great Barrier. There's a name for that theory. What is it? There's barriers that every civilization passes, and if you don't pass it,
I do know
you're
what you're
doomed
talking about there.
to fail.
The Great Filter, that is also one of the answers to the Fermi paradox. The scary answer is that a lot of civilizations know that there's an alien race out there that conquers. And if you look at our own history, I mean...
Yeah, we like to conquer.
What's kind of our bread and butter here on this blue dot.
In my mind, I kind of imagine us being in the trailer park of planets.
Could be. Could be.
That may be wrong.
No. We could be the Mars Hill of life on this... In this existence, yes.
So what about this? Did you see this about human DNA detected on a 2 billion year old meteorite?
No, I didn't hear anything about that.
That came out the day before Halloween.
How could you know that?
I read it.
Well, I know that. But how could they find human DNA on something that's that far out?
I don't know about human DNA, but I know that we could like tell the makeup of atmosphere.
This is actually true, though. I'm reading this on.
No, I'm just asking how that's possible.
Like the building blocks of human DNA or human DNA?
They found all 5. Hang on, let me.
It's going to be that.
They found all 5 nucleobases, DNA and RNA, in samples returned to Earth.
Okay, all right, that's from
an asteroid.
The Chinese Space Agency has landed on an asteroid, dug into it.
This is Japanese, Japan.
Oh, was it Japan? And
Yeah.
then, well, that's going to make me sound like a fucking idiot. They're all the same. No,
One of them
I got
pans.
confused. I thought the Chinese also landed on an asteroid, but
They
maybe
might
they
have.
might. But anyway, regardless, that's one of the answers to how we got here is that
Panspermia.
Yes.
Panspermia is the idea that the building blocks of DNA and the beginnings of evolution came to Earth via an asteroid.
Yeah, right.
I think that's pretty realistic.
Yeah, sure. That's the whole point of this article.
Right. That's cool.
This
Star
isn't
Trek
saying
shit.
they found an arm on an asteroid. This is saying they found the building blocks for human RNA and DNA on an asteroid.
Right.
They found
which makes
an
sense.
abandoned Jazzy.
And a grip sock. But anyway, these
Empty cans of Coke, Diet Coke.
These samples were.
You know, if we ever land on an asteroid and we just see like a butt plug sitting there, it's going to be a real mystery. Like, what the hell happened there?
Pack an open carton of 24/7 cigarettes.
I don't know how to pronounce this. Bennu, Bennu.
Bennu.
Okay, those are the samples that were handled under liquid nitrogen to prevent contamination as they re-entered Earth's atmosphere. That's where they found those building blocks.
Yeah. See, this stuff's all fascinating. I love this stuff. I think that the mystery of how we got here and why we're here could be as simple as that.
Well, if it's happened here, then it's probably happened other places
Of
too.
course,
Exactly. Which then gets us back into the Fermi paradox.
I'll tell you what
Of
I
why-
found extremely interesting, and I don't know why I find it so interesting, but are all these theories that, I'm going into aliens here. The aliens, like the Greys, are humans.
Or not just humans, but like humans from the future.
They're yes.
Right. That's one of the quote unquote theories of these things is that they're highly evolved humans.
Yeah.
Because they don't speak because we won't need to in the future.
Right.
Which sounds great. I'd love to go to Walmart and not have to talk to
They've evolved gravitationally powered butt plugs.
Well, the theory is that's caught a lot of traction. A lot of things I read, and maybe it's my algorithms, are talking about this theory that's all they are is
Well, and another popular
humans.
theory is that they're not even biological.
The biomechanical stuff.
That they have like transcended past that, getting into like android stuff.
Could be.
I mean, Lieutenant Data was the best. If you're going to be in a starship, you want a Data.
Right. Well, but I mean, you could even say that some of these cryptids that could be coming out from them.
Here we go.
Oh,
Could be.
oh no!
Just leaving it at that.
20 minutes in, we're about to talk about.
We've talked about
ape
aliens
man.
and panspermia. As soon as you mention something big and hairy, you crossed the line.
I'm just saying that could be a robot or
Yeah,
something
it
like
could.
that.
Look, in my open mind, I agree with you. And I keep thinking back to that one story that we talked about the guy that made that 911 call. Where
Yeah.
he said something where he was freaking the hell out. And he said, something landed in my truck.
It wasn't
He was
human?
like, what the fuck? Remember that guy?
Yes, I do.
That guy had a very real reaction to something
Right.
that jumped in the back of his truck. And who's to say that thing didn't exist? Not me. So I've always, me, I've always loved the idea of all these things that we do tying into each other somehow. I love that shit.
How would ghosts tie back to that?
Interdimensional. I still believe that it's something quantumly. In 6,000 years, we're going to be able to figure out what these EVPs are. I firmly believe that.
John and I talked a little bit about this being, your preferred theory whenever we did a Bigfoot podcast.
Yes.
What's interesting about the fact that John and I, you weren't able to join because there was internet problems. Your internet was down. What's interesting about the fact that John and I did a Bigfoot podcast is the fact that it never got published.
It didn't?
No.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, you had internet problems too. That they were going to rejoin. They wanted us to come back.
Oh, and they just said, fuck it.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened is my internet at home never, ever goes down. In the biggest ice storm, thunderstorm, you name it.
Maybe they lost the files and couldn't find them.
Because all my cables in my neighborhood are underground.
Well,
we did this podcast, and I did have internet problems. They said, you know what, we're going to keep this half, and we'll book a time to come on and do the rest of it. That's the part that never happened.
I do want to point out,
and we were damn good on there.
We were awesome. I'm wondering if another organization took out your internet. I'm wondering if someone wanted to silence us.
Oh, sabotage.
It happened to Art Bell.
It did.
If it could happen to Art Bell, why couldn't it happen to us?
It was the most bizarre internet problem I've ever had. Ever.
Yeah.
And then me and John were able to join on our phones.
It is weird that we both had internet problems.
I know. And I went to the down detector, and it showed nothing.
Then our phones went down, too.
Well, our phone, we hooked up on our phones. We thought, we'll just do it this way. Since the laptop's not going to hook up, we'll use the...
Maybe the government was shut. Maybe Big Sasquatch was silencing us.
But my phone shut down, and when I went to pick up my phone to see why, it was 1,000 degrees.
Mine was, too.
So we had him do his phone, and the same thing happened.
It's very strange.
I think there was a woodburger out there at my fuse box.
Or someone that didn't want us to talk about it.
That name. It's just the dumbest fucking thing.
I've never heard that. I've never heard that term before.
No, but apparently that term has been around since the goddamn since
the 1800s.
Since westward expansion. People have been talking about the woodburgers.
That was what they called them before they changed the name to Bigfoot.
Well, they good call.
There you go.
Whoever made that decision made a good call. Because as dumb as Bigfoot is, I can't take anything. I can't take Bigfoot seriously half the time. I can't take you seriously at all if you're sitting there talking about the wood book. Like, I just cannot.
But it's ironic because you always jump on Ty because Ty doesn't like what it's called, and so therefore, because
that is true.
I mean, because we were talking about
the Wolfman.
I'll admit it.
Yeah, we were talking about
the werewolf.
an episode.
It's not that I don't like what it's called. That's not it at all. I don't fucking care what you call it.
But
the whole concept is stupid.
We've established it's the name mainly for you.
No, it's not. I don't care what you've established.
In that one particular story, he didn't like that we kept saying werewolf.
Right, but I mean,
oh, how close-minded of me.
No, it's not just that. I don't want to get into this whole thing.
I don't either.
I see you trying to tiptoe around.
That's 180.
I just don't want to.
Let's go to something else.
What's your thoughts on this comet? Do you think that this is just a regular comet?
I think it's going to end up being a comet that's doing some weird things because it's composed of stuff that we don't really know yet.
But I also don't like people attacking these scientists that are saying, like, look, that we need to. I firmly believe that us as a species needs to be prepared for the possibility of an alien encounter.
Oh, we're not prepared whatsoever.
Of a mass alien encounter.
It's going to be very difficult when we do have one. Like if it happens in North Africa and video of that encounter it makes it to the States, I'm not going to believe it's real.
Well, and that's what I mean. It's going to take like a city.
Yeah,
I think that the powers that be take this a lot more seriously than we are giving credit for it.
This was one of the astronomers that is looking at this 3-Eye Atlas thing. Who a lot of them are keeping a very open mind with it. They're like, look, it's probably just a comet. It's acting very strange. If there ever were an alien incursion, it would probably start off looking like this.
Yeah.
This is what it would look like. And he's just kind of going through it very logically. When aliens do come and they demand to overthrow our governments, they're going to be very confused when we offer to help them. I thought that was funny.
That is pretty funny.
Three Eye Atlas is fascinating. And if you like this kind of shit, even just like nerdy space
And
stuff.
don't fall for those stupid pictures that they're posting.
Oh my God. There are so many. In fact, there are so many. John made a joke, a Star Trek joke, that out of everyone here, Tyler and I, like.
The Trekkies did not get my
Tyler
joke.
and I have seen every
got it.
episode of Star Trek. I didn't. I got it on my watch, and I was like, oh, it's one of those stupid. Because there are so many stupid AI
Yeah, there's a bunch.
pictures. Here's the other thing about Three Eye Atlas that is strange.
For people that don't know, I sent a photo of the Doomsday Machine, and if you don't know what that is, look back on Star Trek.
From the original series.
From the original series of Star Trek.
It looks like a giant cone
It's
traveling
scary
through
looking.
space.
Creepy looking spaceship. It's awesome.
It was a great episode.
It was a great episode. And now, once I realized that what episode that was, I was like, oh yeah, okay, that's the one with Captain Deckard, and he's the guy that has a son that is the guy that takes over for Kirk in the original movie Star Trek.
Right.
And he's the guy that eventually merges with V'ger.
Right, and the captain is the guy that rammed the space shuttle down the thing's throat. It blows up, and then Kirk gets the idea to take an entire starship and put it down there.
Great movie.
He gets beamed out at the last second.
I'm out on Trek stuff.
Chris doesn't know what the fuck's going on. The other thing that's interesting about Three Eye Atlas that makes conspiracy theorists kind of crazy, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm really not. I don't buy into it. However, we have every single government-funded monitoring telescope, satellite. The Mars rover has its camera pointed at this thing. The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, which is orbiting Mars, has its camera pointed at this thing. The James Webb Telescope, the most advanced piece of equipment that humanity's ever created, has its camera pointed at this thing. And we've gotten one shitty, tiny little pixelated garbage picture of it. And not just us, but Japan and China and all of these developed countries that have spent money, billions of dollars on space programs, have their stuff pointed at this thing. And they're not releasing any of it. None of it is being released to us.
But also, I don't think a lot of people know how astrophotography really works either, because this thing is, I mean, it's in the solar system. It's fairly close. Its perihelion is fairly close to the sun, but it's still really, astronomically speaking, tiny and dim.
But yeah, yes.
It's not reflecting a lot of light, so it's going to be really hard to image
Of course. And you have the whole calculations of megapixels per light year and all this stuff that goes into
I saw the picture. There's skyscrapers.
The other
on it.
problem you get into with any sort of conspiracy theory, though, is the problem you get into with any sort of a conspiracy theory is if more than one person knows about it, it's almost virtually impossible to keep something quiet in this day and age.
What Tyler said is correct. Most people have a very bad understanding. They're expecting a picture of something very clear and very defined. I'm not asking for that. I'm asking for something. Like we've taken pictures of things that are much farther off and released it. For the average person, it looks like a blob of light. Like if you've seen the first ever picture of the biggest black hole we've ever taken a picture of from the James Webb Telescope.
Yes.
Most people wouldn't know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
It's just it's like a little burst of light.
That wasn't just the James Webb Telescope, though. It was a complete network of all the biggest telescopes
What are you talking about?
on Earth that pointed at it simultaneously and took a picture over,
Well, the
over
James
a
Webb
period
Telescope
of days.
the James Webb doesn't need anything else. It's its own thing.
No, it's in orbit.
Right. I'm just saying that it's very strange. Most of these things get released. Any close comet that you can go to their website, nasa.gov, and look, and they post it, and they say, here it is. Like, you can look at it.
There's a little bit of bureaucracy surrounding all that. I think how this works is like things like the Mars rover, the James Webb, the Hubble, all these things they're tools. I think how it works is scientists and governing bodies or research bodies will effectively like rent usage time on those things. You collect their data and then pour over it. And that can take as long as we take to go over an investigation, like weeks.
Yeah.
Before they'll release it to the public, you know?
But they took these pictures months and months ago.
Well, they're studying the shit out of it because it's doing weird stuff.
I'm just saying it's weird they haven't released it. And it is weird. Like, even like established scientists have said, yeah, it's kind of strange.
The thing that fuels conspiracies is not releasing any information on stuff, too, because it's kind of like people will fill in the void themselves.
Have we ever mentioned how shady NASA can be?
No, you've never really talked about that.
Do you know how shady NASA can be?
No.
Their unnecessary, weird airbrushing.
Oh, yes. We've never talked about that, but I know what you're talking about.
Well, sometimes when they release a photo, like
It's fragmented and they have to like piece it together.
well, yeah, they have to piece it together and stuff,
Right.
but they also want it to look nice. Like it needs to be visually.
they're
Some
scientific.
things need to be visually appealing.
They're a scientific body.
I think it depends on what you're talking about.
Well, there are things that NASA has released. Not that I'm saying there's anything to them. Like pictures of Mars, for example, the Mars landscape.
So what are they doing to
There's
it?
there evidence, like photo manipulated people that can look at these things and like look at pixels and be like, oh no, that's been modified. They've looked at them and said, no, that's obviously been airbrushed. And a lot of it is just like, it's just like it's a rock.
And it's weird because some of it goes back to like some of the claims they made about the moon landing. And I am not sitting here saying the moon landing didn't happen. However, one of the things people said was they saw the same landscape appear in multiple pictures, the exact same. You know, they laid them over each other. You know, this is supposed to be miles away from this, but it's the exact. And they're saying the same thing has happened with the Mars landscape as well. They can match up things that are on the ground.
Let me give you a theory on that, and I don't know anything about it. I didn't even know they did this until you just threw this out. But I wonder if this is also part of the reason why when we come on this podcast, we'll try to play good EVPs. I'm not playing 8 hours of nothing. That they're trying to find something to show.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that when they publish some of these things, it's for the purpose of looking good, like some of the images they release of like Neptune, for example, or nebula. If you look at a nebula, if you were a couple light years away from a nebula, these fucking things are humongous. Some of them are hundreds of light years across, like the Horsehead Nebula.
Right.
Huge. If you were, astronomically speaking, right next to it, looking at it with the naked eye, you would see barely fucking anything. But when we take a long exposure shot of it and then boost some of the colors and some of it captures infrared too that we can't see, which makes it look like you can see the details better, and some of those you can tell the chemical composition of what's in it by taking images that are out of our visual that we can't see.
What color?
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So those images have scientific use, but they also look better than just taking a picture of a ghostly, barely visible outline of something. And so they publish those because they look better. And because they have use.
You think that's why they did that for the moon?
I've never understood why. I don't know, because I'm not going to fall into the conspiracy theory of that it was all on a sound.
Have you guys ever heard of Donna Hare?
No.
Donna Hare was a NASA employee for like 30 years, lifelong NASA employee. And when she left the agency, she made a comment and became very public about her comments. And she said that NASA would routinely, like it was part of their job, they would routinely airbrush UFOs out of pictures.
Oh, I don't doubt that a bit. It's easy to do.
Like routinely.
Yeah, but on the flip side of that, you could see like they get a picture back and then it has some weird shit in it, and a manager or somebody going, just fucking get rid of that.
But
probably an asteroid.
But
Get
that's
it out.
not okay. Like you can't call yourself a scientific agency and then just modify your stuff you're releasing to the public. We're paying for them. They are paid for by our tax dollars. They can't just be releasing misinformation like that, and we should all just be like, oh, it's fine. It's just what they do.
Well, I agree. They should keep it in there and then provide an explanation as to what it is. And if you can't explain it, then say you can't explain it.
But after everything that has come to light, these congressional hearings and hearing how common these things really are, these UFOs really are, it makes you think, well, why were they airbrushing these things out? If airline pilots are saying, oh yeah, they're everywhere, and air traffic controllers are like, oh yeah, no, yeah, they're everywhere. Jet pilots in our military are saying, oh no, we see them all the time. And radar operators on Navy ships are being like, oh no, we get blips out in the middle of the ocean all the time. Then why are we airbrushing them out of NASA's publicly releasing pictures?
I heard that. I don't know where I heard this from either. Now that you say something about water, I don't remember where I read this from. It was an article of some kind of news release, but it said there are no-go zones in the ocean where they've gotten large sonar returns of large objects moving at supersonic speeds underwater.
Yeah, I just read an article before we started about all the UFO spottings on the East Coast along the actual coast. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't get far enough into it to tell whether they were talking about actual underwater type things.
Makes you kind of think twice about those drone incursions that happen in New Jersey, right?
I was thinking about that too. Yeah.
Kind of makes you raise an eyebrow at that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's
my personal and this is what the
Was that this year?
no, it was last year.
Oh, okay.
Those drone incursions have been happening for like the past 10
Oh, I know
years.
that. But I mean, when they finally hit the news, I couldn't
When
remember
they
if
hit
that
the
was...
news, yeah, I think that was like last year. Going back to the Nimitz thing, remember how he said, Commander Fervor said that he looked down and he saw like the Tic Tac, right?
Yep.
Hovering over a boiling patch of water in the
Yeah.
ocean. And one of the big things that supposed quote unquote leakers have said is that there are underwater bases that are known and mapped.
Yes.
And there are no-go zones because there have been missions and jets scrambled and ships sent that have disappeared.
You're talking about there are supposedly underwater bases specifically made for UFOs.
For UFOs.
And that there's an agreement between,
Well, I don't even know about like that. That's a thing too. An agreement between our government and like,
them.
like a treaty signed
Yeah,
and what shit
right.
and all that shit.
Going back to Eisenhower, is that what you're talking about
all
there?
that
Yes.
shit, yeah. That goes back to all that. But a big thing about those underwater bases is that like they're completely autonomous. Like there's no actual living being down there. Like those bases have been there. This is one of the ideas that those bases have been there for who knows, thousands if not millions of years, just doing their thing, just constantly producing these things.
Producing what?
UFOs.
Oh, okay. I see.
Because you think about UFOs, they are like the closest thing we can get to a UFO would be like a 3D printed thing.
Well, and
there's no rivets or screws or
again,
bolts.
the idea is that these things are droids that are going out and gathering information and that kind of a
Yeah,
thing.
like a scouting mission.
We now have the ability, by the way, to do 3D printing with concrete and steel.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
they're like 3D printing houses right now, but they're still pretty shitty.
But the point is, they're not manufactured by pieces put together.
No.
You can make a solid object now.
That's what going back to Bob Lazar, he said his first thought when he saw this thing was like, where's the
seams?
right?
Yeah.
Because like if you're engineering something, that's one of the big things is like the weak points.
Yeah.
Like if you get on a plane, there's a lot of weak points.
Yep.
A lot of weak points
where
on a plane.
Something could go wrong.
Yep.
But with these things, if they're made and it's all one thing, it can hold up to a lot more stresses.
Dig right into the Roswell sand. Anything else to add about the UFOs? I'm gonna have to go get to my.
No,
I'm gonna have to go
I
get
guess
to
not.
my albuterol.
I do like the idea one day of I want that mass sighting.
The mass sightings.
I
that's gonna
welcome
be
it.
that's gonna be the event.
I welcome it. Like I'm ready.
Kind of hope they contact someone like one of us first, and not like a Appalachian.
I mean, like a guess.
So they come down to us and we're like, okay, so you're gonna want to lay a little low on this side here. This part's kind of safe, but stay kind of high. Like we're mostly cool, but there's some of us that are a little,
So you're hoping when they come down and make their first contact that it's someone who has a full set of teeth.
I'm hoping it's someone with teeth that doesn't go, I'm gonna fucking shoot it.
Well, that's going to happen. Even if there's a mass sighting over fucking New York City or
cannot-
Baltimore,
Even our military is gonna
motherfuckers are
fly in.
shooting at.
We're gonna fly in
you-
with F-22s and give it all we got.
They're gonna be. They better hover on back out of here.
I hope they bring me up to the mothership and be like, what's the deal with all this? And I'll be like, just fucking give us like another couple hundred years and everything will be fine.
Well,
Just come back.
Even on the movie Independence Day back in the 90s, when that mothership first broke through the clouds, motherfuckers is shooting at it.
Yeah, didn't they even have a scene where it's like a news report?
Yeah,
and
they
it's
were
like,
saying don't start an
"Don't
international
shoot"?
war.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, there was like a guy holding the gun up with like a no sign.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's gonna happen.
Of course that's going to happen.
And in Independence Day, they should have shot sooner.
Well, yeah, no. But hell, people will shoot at you for turning around in their driveway. You better believe they're going to shoot at a fucking...
Yes, that's true.
I mean, Jesus Christ. All right, we got anything else on this? I know you could keep going, and you can, but I'm going to have to step out because I got to get my inhaler.
Yeah, Chris is starting to wheeze.
Anybody got anything to add?
No, if there's any aliens listening, contact us first. You can be a guest on the podcast.
And if you are listening, comment, like, share on the podcast platforms. I don't care if you're an alien. I don't care who you are. Please do that. Anybody's welcome to do that.
All right, we'll come back next week.
We'll be back next week with more Dark Matter from Pythian Castle in Springfield, Missouri with Midwest Ghost Hunters.